I transferred my home to my daughter and son-in-law, and an hour later, I had 20 missed calls. That line kept looping in my mind the moment I saw my phone vibrating nonstop in the airport lounge. At first, I didn't even want to look. I thought, they probably just realized how inconvenient it is not to have me around. But deep inside, something colder twisted in my stomach. 2 hours earlier, I stood outside the departure area with my duffel bag, still smelling like the aftershave I had slapped on that morning, trying to look steady. I remember turning to Lauren and Jacob, expecting some kind of safe travels, or at least a hug. Instead, Jacob barely slowed the car. He leaned over Lauren, rolled the passenger window down, and said, "Well, this is where we drop you, Dan. Have a good trip, yeah?" I blinked at him. "You're not even getting out?" Lauren stared ahead like the windshield suddenly became the most fascinating object in the world. "Dad, we're in a rush. You'll be fine. You know your way." My throat tightened. "I signed the house papers this morning. A little respect won't kill either of you." Jacob's jaw twitched. "We said thank you. What else do you want?" Before I could answer, he drove off fast. It felt like the exhaust fumes smacked me harder than their words. I stood there with planes roaring overhead, trying to make sense of how my own daughter just left me like I was an obligation dropped at the curb. As I walked toward the terminal, I muttered, "Garbage. That's what they made me feel like." I sat near a tall window overlooking the runway. The plastic chair screeched when I pulled it back, the sound cutting through the hum of passengers rolling suitcases. I took a slow breath and whispered, "Maybe I did the wrong thing, giving them the house." My phone buzzed once, then again, then 10 more times. A message from Lauren flashed on the screen. "Call me now, right now." Then another. "Dad, what did you do to the deed?" My heart thumped, but not from fear, from something else, something almost like satisfaction. But before that moment, before their panic, there was a whole story that led me here. And it didn't start with betrayal. It started with trust. 3 weeks before the airport, Lauren sat on my porch in Oak Ridge, sipping lemonade like she always did when she wanted something. "Dad," she began, twirling her straw, "you know this house is too big for you. It's stressful. Jacob and I were talking. Maybe we could take it over. You could move into that senior condo near the lake. It's peaceful there." I squinted at her. "The condo? That place feels like a waiting room for people who've already given up." She sighed. "Dad, we're trying to help. You always say you don't want to burden me." I looked at her face, my only child. "I don't want to burden you, but the house is my life, Lauren." She leaned closer. "Then let us keep it in the family. You'd still visit all the time." Jacob joined us halfway through the conversation. He popped open a can of soda and said, "Plus, the property taxes are killing you. We're doing you a favor here." My gut told me something was off, but I ignored it, because I wanted to believe my daughter still cared. So I said, "Fine. If it makes things easier for you both, let's talk to a lawyer." Jacob clapped his hands like he'd just scored a goal. "Great choice, Dan. Seriously." But the next morning, I overheard them in my kitchen before they thought I was awake. Jacob's voice was low but sharp. "Just get the signature. After that, we can finally renovate the place the way I want." Lauren murmured something I couldn't hear. Jacob added, "He'll be out of the picture soon anyway. We just need the deed transferred." I froze in the hallway. My fingertips went numb. Out of the picture soon? A wave of heat flooded my chest. They weren't helping me, they were planning me out of their lives. Later that day, at the lawyer's office, Jacob tapped the deed papers impatiently while I read every line. "Come on, Dan. We've been here an hour." I cleared my throat. "Jacob, mind stepping outside for a minute? I want to talk to Lauren, alone." He raised a brow. "Whatever. Just hurry." When he left, I looked straight at my daughter. "Be honest with me. Are you really doing this because you care, or because it benefits Jacob?" She flinched. "Dad, why would you even ask that?" "I heard you this morning." My voice cracked. "You two think I'm a burden." Her eyes widened, guilt flashing for a split second before she masked it. "Dad, that came out wrong." Jacob was frustrated. "You always assume the worst." I studied her face. But I couldn't tell if she was lying or protecting him. Maybe both. So I made a decision right there. Quiet, invisible, and completely mine. When the lawyer returned, I smiled politely and said, "I'll sign, but I want to add one more clause at the end. For formality." Jacob frowned. "What clause?" I shrugged. "Just a personal request. Nothing complicated." The lawyer skimmed it and said, "It's unusual, but legal." Jacob didn't care enough to read it. He was too excited. Lauren looked relieved. I signed. But while they believed they walked away with everything, they had no idea that the last clause changed everything. Which brings me back to the airport bench, where my phone lit up again. Another message from Lauren. "Dad, please answer. Jacob is freaking out. This can't be real. Did you do this on purpose?" I smiled to myself, not because I wanted revenge, but because for the first time in a long time, I felt like I had a little control again. And when the 20th missed call appeared on my screen, I finally pressed answer. Lauren's voice burst through, frantic. "Dad, we need to talk now. You didn't tell us about the final clause. What does it mean the house isn't completely ours?" I leaned back in the chair, letting her panic spill through the line before I spoke. "What it means, Lauren?" I said calmly. "Depends on how honest you're ready to be with me." Lauren sounded like she was running, breathless and shaking. "Dad, please, just explain it. Jacob's losing it. The lawyer said the clause changes everything." I held the phone loosely against my ear. "Which part exactly is bothering Jacob?" "The part that says you maintain primary occupancy rights," she said. "What does that even mean?" "It means," I replied, "that no matter whose names are on the deed, I decide who lives in that house, including myself." Lauren gasped softly. "So you never planned on moving into that condo?" "I planned on moving," I answered, "but not because of the reasons you and Jacob thought." There was a silence, not empty heavy, like both of us were finally standing in a place where lies couldn't breathe. She whispered, "Dad, did you hear us that morning?" "I did." "And you still signed?" "I signed because I wanted to see what you'd do when you thought you had everything." Lauren's breath hitched. "Dad, I'm sorry." I closed my eyes. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to feel that old warmth I used to when she said she needed me. But there was something deeper. I needed truth. "What are you sorry for exactly, Lauren?" She hesitated. For listening to Jacob, for letting him push me, for not stopping him when he kept talking about renovations and moving your things out." My jaw tightened. "He planned to move my things out?" "Yes," she admitted. "He said it was just stuff, and he wanted to start the remodel before you even left for your trip." Before I could respond, I heard another voice yelling in the background. "Jacob!" Lauren's voice muffled as she covered the phone. "Jacob, stop! No, stop! I'm talking to him." Then Jacob's voice thundered clearly into the line, furious and unfiltered. "Dan, what the hell did you pull? You tricked us." I exhaled slowly. "I added a clause you didn't bother to read. That's not a trick. That's your carelessness." "You cheated us." "No," I said calmly. "I protected myself." Lauren whispered, "Jacob, stop. Please. You're making it worse." Jacob snapped, "No, Lauren. He lied. He played us." I said softly, "Jacob, I heard you. I heard you say I'd be out of the picture. You think that gives you the right to call me a liar now?" For a moment, nothing. Then Jacob shouted, "You were eavesdropping." "I live in my own house. You were talking in my kitchen." Lauren's voice cracked. "Jacob, just stop talking." But Jacob didn't stop. "I don't care about his feelings. He signed the house over. That's all that matters." "Not all," I said. "Not the part where I kept occupancy rights. Not the part that says any attempt to force me out legally transfers the property back to me." Lauren made a strangled sound. "Dad, wait, what? Transfers it back?" "You heard me." Jacob roared, "That's impossible." "It's legal," I said. "The lawyer approved it." "He didn't tell us." "You didn't ask." Jacob let out a furious growl. "Undo it! Fix it now!" "No," I said simply. Lauren's voice trembled. "Dad, can you please come home? We need to talk in person. I'm not coming home right now. Lauren's voice broke. Please, don't leave it like this. I'm not leaving, I said gently. You are. She sucked in a shaky breath. What do you mean? Lauren, the clause says, I choose the residence. That includes the power to deny occupancy, temporarily or permanently. Jacob screamed, You're kicking us out? No, I said. I'm giving you both time to think. Time away from the house. A reset. Lauren whispered, Dad, where do we even go? Jacob's parents live 20 minutes away, I said. You always said they had space. Jacob snorted. We're not going there. That's your choice, I replied. But the house stays empty until I return. My lawyer already filed the notice. Lauren began to sob softly. Dad, please. I didn't want this. I swear to you. I softened my voice. Lauren, I know, but you let Jacob speak for both of you, and he made it clear he didn't want me around. Jacob snapped. You're damn right I didn't. Lauren suddenly gasped. Jacob, stop. Just stop. Then her voice lowered, trembling. Dad, I don't want him talking for me anymore. I want to talk to you, alone. Jacob muttered something angry in the background. Then a door slammed. Lauren whispered, Dad, I messed up. I should have stood up for you. I should have told him to slow down, and I should have told you how scared I was about money. I wasn't trying to hurt you. I let her words sink in, not because they erased what happened, but because they were finally real. Lauren, I said quietly, I don't want to punish you, but I do want you to understand how deeply that morning cut me. I do, she whispered. I do now. And I want space to decide if I still want to share my house with both of you. She swallowed hard. Does that mean you might still let us live there? I might, I answered, depending on what happens next. She sniffed. And Jacob? That, I said, is your decision, not mine. Another long breath. Dad, are you coming home eventually? Yes, I said, but not today. I want you to think about why this happened. She nodded weakly. Okay. And Lauren? Yeah? When I get back, we're going to have an honest conversation. Not the kind where you say what Jacob wants. The kind where you finally tell me what you want. Her voice cracked again. I want my dad back. I closed my eyes. My chest tightened not with pain, but with something like hope. Then start by choosing the version of yourself who remembers how we used to talk before Jacob's voice got louder than yours. I will, she whispered. I promise. Good. Then we'll figure the rest out. Before she hung up, she asked one last thing. Dad, did you do all this because you wanted revenge? No, I said. I did it because I wanted respect. And sometimes the only way to get it is to remind people what they stand to lose. The line went quiet. Then she said softly, I understand. I ended the call and looked out at the runway again. A plane climbed into the sky, wings catching the sun. I didn't know exactly what would happen when I returned home. But for the first time in a long time, I felt like I wasn't an obligation or a burden. I felt like someone who mattered. And that was enough.